Breaking news! Colossal Biosciences have used ancient DNA to successfully resurrect the direwolf, an ice age predator which hasn't walked the earth for 10,000 years. What an amazing scientific break! Alright, let's dig into this, shall we? First, what is cloning? Cloning, as far as it goes with genetic engineering by humans, is where one takes the complete genetic code from an organism, transfer it into a recipient cell, from which grows a copy of the original organism through a surrogate mother. So, how did Colossal create these direwolves? Using genes of the direwolf as a reference, they coded 14 genes in a grey wolf genome to resemble it, and grew the pups through a domestic dog surrogate mother. So, right from the get-go, nothing has been cloned. There's no direwolf DNA in these animals. The Times article that broke the story even says so. They haven't resurrected an extinct species, they're not even hybrids, they're GMO grey wolves. You see, Enosion dirus is not a direct ancestor of the modern grey wolf Canis lupus. Their common ancestors separated over 5 million years ago, and since then they evolved on their own separate branches until the direwolf went extinct at the end of the last ice age. They're way more different to each other than most people realise, so using Canis as your base animal already means it's not going to be Enosion. Changing a few genes in the code is not going to undo 5 million years of divergence and make these animals jump across the family tree into a different species that already exists independently. At best, you're making a new strain of grey wolf, which in itself doesn't have to be such a bad thing. If you wanted to, you could call these animals a new breed of wolf inspired by the direwolf. That would at least be more honest than claiming they're literally Enosion dirus. Also, there's the dog surrogate mothers to think about. During pregnancy, mother animals share their blood, their immune system, and other tissues with the developing fetus. That means these so-called direwolves literally have domestic dog blood running through their veins. I know I'm going on a bit, but I cannot stress enough how much these animals are not direwolves. They're a facsimile if you're being generous, and a forgery if you're not. Whichever way you slice it, they're not the genuine article. Growing extra hair on an elephant is not cloning a mammoth. Growing bigger teeth on a lion is not cloning a saber-tooth. And engineering a wolf to look like Ghost from Game of Thrones is absolutely not cloning a direwolf. All of this raises a bigger, more important question. What's the point of this? What are these animals destined for? Even if they were genuine direwolves, you can't release them into the wild. The environment they lived in and the prey they hunted have been gone for 10,000 years, and they wouldn't even behave like direwolves because they don't have any direwolf parents to show them how. Colossal like to make a big song and dance about how the money they make from cloning these megafauna will go towards conservation and restoration efforts. Okay, so why not do that now? You clearly already have the money and the technology. Where's your kakapo breeding program? How many black-footed ferrets have you got in the wings? If you really need the de-extinction thing to drum up interest and get funding, bring back something that went extinct really recently. They might still have a place to go in the world, and you can even use biological specimens to make genuine clones. Bring back the northern white rhino, the golden toad, Pinta giant tortoise, Yangtze river dolphin. These are all valid options. This one hurts, man. Above all the dodgy science and questionable ethics, it's the dishonesty that really bothers me. Colossal have shown that they aren't in the science and conservation business, they're in the publicity business. They're all about making big exciting claims that grab headlines, harvest clicks on social media, and get investors to part with their money, all while doing stuff that the scientific community continues to call out as being deeply sus. They didn't announce these wolves through a reputable academic journal or a scientific conference where they could be examined and validated. They went straight for a front page splash on Time magazine. Colossal's legitimacy is dependent on the well-meaning public not understanding the details of the work they're doing and the science it's based on. It's all a big grift, but I don't blame you, the people. I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that real-world science is kind of up against the ropes right now. It's being deliberately underfunded, understaffed, and undermined to satisfy the desires of the absolute worst people in power, to the detriment of everyone else. So seeing this kind of snake oil, tech bro sensationalism dominating the headlines, so unquestioningly repeated without any scrutiny, it's honestly exhausting. And I just know, as a paleontology guy who works in a museum as a science educator, I'm going to have to explain this to people over and over and over again. Don't get conned, folks. Be better than they think you are. Thanks for watching and putting up with my irritating chest infection. If you want to support my various endeavours, I've got a Patreon page where you can pledge and get early access and behind the scenes materials. I'm on Blue Sky, all the usual platforms, and I've got a big back catalogue of videos for you to check out in the meantime. Take care now.